Ooh, we had a Valentine's Day shooting in the school by a child that was 19, had attended that school, and I guess when he was 18, quite old for high school. Well, he was quite old, but anyway, instead of graduating, he got suspended from school. Which I think suspending school the way we do here in America is really a cop out. I think that like you hear a lot about mental health with the children. The one number one thing I notice when it comes to mental health problems with children is that, well, I saw a documentary on a kid that had Asperger's, but he was a genius. I think it was Asperger's. He was a genius when it came to math, but his behavior was off. He wasn't sociable or anything, but he was going to school in Britain. And they had a little difficulty finding him a school, but when they did find him a school, and um, the way they interact with the children, where they had tea with them, tea and toast, and you know, uh, they had conversations with them, um, and they basically really steered him to in the right direction. And I think that that's what's wrong with our schools today. Our education system is not geared to trying to get the best out of a child. You know, instead we spend more money on programs that not all the children could participate in, let's say like football, basketball, whatever. When if it was getting them into language, getting them all more into a morning unified exercise. If they got them into working with their hands, building robots or building computers or building solar panels out of trash or something, something to do creative that also that could, sort of guide them their interests that to something that, oh wow, there could be a career in here, you know uh like studying plant lives. They use the alkalies in a lot of the plants now for everything. So they could even have gardens to where uh they're just doing, not chemistry where the only thing you think about is exploding things, but there's a bunch of things that you could do to stimulate the kids' minds that we don't do. If from And even the food that we serve is not the type of food that really their body needs. Is too much sugar. You know, uh, you know, with the cold cereal, it's very convenient. We're feeding our kids more conveniently instead of wisely. You know, um, like I've known mothers that never feed their kids vegetables, and they're like, ew, the kids ew. And then I've seen other mothers that it's probably just very easy and more convenient for them to give their kids raw vegetables, especially when they're real little and they're eating carrots, they're eating celery, raw broccoli. It's like broccoli, better raw, and you dip it in cheese or whatever. Cheese sauce, you can dip it in ranch dressing, honey mustard, whatever. But, or you could just eat it plain. So, but and those kids eat vegetables. They also eat meat too. But it's all what we get our child used to. You know, if if you can make carrot sticks, in like in advance, and just take some that you gotta keep it in a jar of water in the refrigerator, and just give the kid a couple of carrot sticks to, you know, stop their hunger pains long enough so you could give them some, more to eat, so you don't have to crying. But there's all different type of choices. Uh, but America is more geared to, oh, you have to continue punishing this child. You got to whoop this child. Like the parents, I got to whoop them, which is not acceptable in society to teach to your response to be that of violence, that of hitting. Because later on in life, like in your workplace or whatnot, that is not the way to get somebody to do something, and it's not a good a good way to negotiate. You know, so it's not really something that the society accepts. So like training your child very young, because they're just gonna copy the parents. So the parents hit, because I see around here parents that whoop their kids. As soon as their kid gets a teenager, the kid hits back. What does that parent do? They call the police. And then you get then you get the child involved with the police, and then you pretty much done ruined their life in lots of ways. Instead of like it's so much easier not to teach them that than it is to unteach. And we're not rehabilitating kids. Like that child, his mom died. So I guess when he got suspended from school, it's probably right around that time. We don't take in consideration normal human behavior because of stress, because of anxiety, because of them being victimized in some way, or somebody grieving. We don't. Like when I was looking at that show, like and they were showing the British school, they took in the whole situation, and maybe they took them a little extra time with that child, but after that easy breezy. you know and they didn't hit the child, they didn't suspend the child, and they didn't do like all this negative more damage to the child. So a lot of this like they used to say when I was growing up, if everybody's crazy and you're the only one that's not crazy, then in society you're the crazy one and they're all normal. Maybe we have a sick society. Maybe the way we're looking, what I'm saying, like at the education system now, it's not like they want to solve the problem by going to the root of the problem and undoing the damage that they did to cause the problem. Or you don't always have to have brand new inventive ways. Sometimes you just have to sit down and use common sense. Some stuff might be brand new, some stuff might be tried and true, like home economics, keeping them busy like that, working with small engines, learning how to do stuff like drawing classes, or art classes, music class, and a gym. Because like these things will get the kids' mind active and inventive in such a way that it is not focused maybe on other stresses. You know, Even like because sometimes once you engage a child in an activity, maybe even one that's a little challenging for them, but with practice they can do it. That that will get their minds focused on on more creative and clever things that is what mammals are noted for. Get them back to being a little bit the animal in them, you might say, where they could use their curiosity, they could use their cleverness, they could use tools, uh, they could build muscles through walking or through a repetitious type of activity. Um, uh, you know, Getting closer to plant life, understanding plant lives, understanding the different uses for plant lives, either in all forms, and getting more interested in their environment. All this helps a more creative mind that won't be so geared to self gratification and be more sensitive to self to ridicule. Because you can look on the internet today, tweets, whatever, etc., that you get a lot of negative feedback. You'll get more negative feedback than you will get positive feedback. And this is something that the children have to endure. You know, be it racism or just a neighborhood bully, or you know, maybe they're Jewish, they don't like them, but everybody, you know, is under a lot of stress from a lot of hate, and America is like fractured, uh, going in all different directions. And then when we have a president that's not a leader, and we have Republicans that are not representing the best interests of the American citizens, I think unfortunately you'll see more stress and anxiety that'll be act out in these violent acts, because this is how we have raised these generations, you know, for a couple of generations, for like 7 generations now, that whooping is great, you know. I hear moms telling the kid, "Oh, he bad," like it's a compliment. You know, this kid just learned the word bad is not good, and good is positive. So, you know, and we have to worry about being double-minded hypocrites to our kids. You know, we lose trust in our kids with having them believe in Santa Claus, something so easy to proving, and the tooth fairy and stuff like that, when the children should be able to know a good fable, and be able to uh, have the type of brain function that they can comprehend the difference between reality and fake and fiction. And like I said, we don't have a good representative as our president in that. With the lies and stuff that we're hearing coming out of the White House right now, you know, uh, it, you know, it's going to cause a lot of stress, and we see how people are acting out. They're acting out by, you know, trying to cause as much pain as they can in the community, because they feel the community has caused them pain. When I say the community, I'm talking about the United States and how we govern, and the policies and the political situation that it is causing people more harm than it is good. It's a damn shame. I hope that we could fix it by 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 curing, by being creative and an inventive type of thinking, to where we understand that our children are tomorrows. Either, you know, if we're gonna have a tomorrow for them, with who knows, with climate change. And that's another stressor on kids too. We have a president that doesn't even believe in climate change, and when you have to deal with the reality of the day to day, you know, weather, you know, don't care who you are, you know, your body knows. We know. Anyway, you know, I just, I have so, I'm so sorry for those families and the people that such a tragedy has happened, that we have another school shooting. And, you know, I wish they would get rid of those automatic weapons. But NRA makes a lot of money off of guns and keeping guns. I don't know. Like, don't we have enough guns in the rest of the world that, you know, who knows? You know, they keep talking about, oh, mental health, mental health. That's a good way of saying we're not going to do shit, you know. Because for all accounts, nobody was going to know. Kids say a whole bunch of shit one day, and the next day, you know, they could have talked to somebody, or they could have just seen a show, or they could have just sat down and had a thought and like, man, that was silly, that was stupid. You know, so adolescents go through different changes because of the hormones and different emotions and stress that they have in school and the stress they have at home. You know, uh, you know, even moving around. Then you, in between the age of you can't have a car, or if you can, you can't afford it, or you know. So there's a lot of stress that teenagers have that, you know, that we don't take in consideration, and we're not taking in the big picture. We're not taking in that the most important thing that we can do. Well, China and Japan, they really work hard in education systems, and you can see the kids. The younger that you get them, like in the habit of studying and stuff like that, these kids take it on their own. And China and Japan is way ahead of us. In in um in manufacture. Their places look more modern than we do, and they're growing, and they're thinking about using more solar panels, more wind powers, and stuff like that because they know they have to grow with the future if they want a future. You can't keep doing the same stuff that's caused damage, and pollution, and harm and death, and expect something different. They say that if you keep doing the same thing, expect something different, that's insanity. So I'm saying we got a sick culture. We got a sick president. And the only way to cure it is by not continuing the behavior that caused him to be such a sick person. Save our children.